morning. It is about 7:50 a.m. right now, and we are up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to get this day started. As you can see from the title, in today's video, I wanted to show you my morning routine, but not just my at-home morning routine. I want to show you my morning routine when I am at home and when I'm on the road. If you just stumbled upon this video, hi, welcome. And I am currently training to run a 50K ultra marathon. And I'm a flight attendant at one of the big 3 airlines in the United States. So my schedule's kind of all over the place. From week to week, it's always different. So I try to create as much consistency as I can with what I got. So that's what I want to show you guys today. If you've been following me for a minute, the morning routine has changed up quite a bit. I've learned a lot in January. It has been a month of discovery, and I've gotten a pretty decent to-do list of things that I need to do in order to prepare for the race, and things popped up that I didn't even know about. So I can't wait to share all the things that I found out this month and just share the new updated morning routine with you guys. I think it's been years and years and years. I think I've only done one morning routine video. So enjoy. Now, normally one of the first things I'll do when I wake up is feed the fish. We have got some new characters in the fish tank. We've got a full house, as you can see. I'll show you them later. They're not ready to be fed yet because the light's not on yet. Once the light comes on, I'll feed them, so we'll wait a little bit. As you can see, I made myself some water with some electrolyte powder in my water bottle. I'm actually gonna start drinking this now. One thing I've started doing, instead of just waiting until I'm actually on the run to start drinking the electrolytes, is I've started drinking them before I go on my run. Just sipping on them as I'm getting ready to go. And a lot of times I don't even need to bring my water bottle with me. I'll just drink it and then I'll go run. But depending on how much I run today, I'm gonna bring the water bottle with me because I'm not really sure. I'm gonna kind of see how I feel. I have faced a couple setbacks this month. The biggest one being that I did actually catch a cold. I made it through the whole holiday season without catching anything, without getting sick. No matter how many people coughed on me with their mouths open, I did not get sick. I was like, this is crazy. Everybody else is getting sick, not me though. Oh well. I really thought that I was gonna skate by, but I did end up finally catching a cold. And it was literally just as I was ramping my running back up to a decent level. If you wanna recap a few videos ago, in episode 1 and 2 of this series, I had a knee injury. I ramped up my running mileage, and as a result of that, I was having some pain in one of my knees. I've never had any problems running. I've never had pain, but I started getting this constant pain in my knee to the point where it would even be hurting when I wasn't running. So I had to take some weeks off running and take it slow and honestly go read some books. I read a book called Running Pain Free. I'll put it right here on the screen, but that led me to read that book, which led me to discover that the reason I was having knee pain is probably because there's some imbalances in my body and some things that I need to work on. In particular, my hips. I discovered I had tight hips, I had weak hips, and those two things go hand in hand. If your hips are tight, they're usually weak. If they're weak, they're usually tight. Your hip and your knees are directly connected. So if your hips are weak and your hips aren't doing their job, then you're gonna have knee pain as a result. So I didn't know that. I thought if you have knee pain, then there's something wrong with your knee, but it's the whole chain, your whole body, everything is connected. And if there's an imbalance somewhere, your body will compensate in another way to make up for it. And that can cause pain and injury. So reading that book definitely helps me. I've been reading books on body weight exercises, and now I'm reading a book on how to actually train for an ultra marathon. So books are really, really good for finding stuff out. I mean, YouTube University is great too, but books are actually pretty good too. So with that being said, I've been working on my hip mobility and hip strength for the last month. I've been doing some hip stretches, hip strengthening exercises for the last month. I've really just been on it to get myself back to where I want to be and even better. And it's been helping. I even came home from work a few weeks ago and I was having some pain in my ankle. Like my ankle was feeling weak. And I came home and I did my hip exercises and the pain in my ankle went away. So everything is connected. I really want to educate myself more on the body. I really want to go back to school. Hopefully that is in the near future. But I'm about to warm up before I go on my run. This will be my first run in about a week. Before that though, I am gonna do some breathing exercises. That is another thing. See, this month, the month of January, the theme has been just discovery. So while I am training for this race, swimming is still going on in the background. I am very much still on it with getting myself to a point where I get comfortable with my swim. One of my big goals this year is to get comfortable swimming, get comfortable in the water, improve my technique drastically, improve my endurance drastically. The biggest thing holding me back from doing that, besides inexperience and some fear of the water, is my breathing. I just have a big problem with my endurance and just getting out of breath after like 50 yards. And I just feel like I've hit this wall where I just cannot break that 50-yard barrier. So I'm not gonna give up. I am hell bent on getting my swim better. For about a month, consistently been doing lung strengthening exercises, breathing exercises. And I flew with this guy, shout out to Corey. Y'all probably know who Wim Hof is. He told me that he has these breathing videos on YouTube that a lot of people do to be able to prolong how long they can hold their breath and to strengthen their lungs. So I've been doing Wim Hof breathing exercises for about 2 weeks. I've been doing it at least once a day. I really want to do it twice a day, but I have been doing it once a day, every day for about 2 weeks. I've only missed 2 days when I was like really sick and I could barely breathe anyways. I'm going to start off by doing the breathing exercises. It's about 10 minutes long, and then I'm going to get into my warm up and go for my run. So I've started being very intentional and disciplined about making sure that I warm up every single time before I go for a run. It's really important, especially when the weather is cold. It just helps everything feel better and flow better, and better to get the muscles prepared and warmed up before you go put out such an effort. So I put together 2 workouts from my favorite YouTube workout channel, Juice and Toy. Y'all know I'm Juice and Toy stands. I put together 2 of their workout videos. One is a 5-minute dynamic warm-up, which is actually a really great warm-up for any exercise, but especially running. It really warms up the hips, gets your body warm, gets your heart rate up. And then they have a mini band booty workout that's 10 minutes long, and that one's actually a really good pre-run. It really gets the glutes fired up, warmed up, and helps to create that mind-muscle connection when you're running, because your glutes are the biggest muscle in your body, and if you can connect to those muscles and use them when you're running, you won't have so much strain on your knees, on your quads. So I really love these 2 workouts, and I'll put them down in the description below, but I started doing them before every single run.
A mile in, I think I'm gonna go at least 4, but I'm gonna tell you one of the main things I learned this month. So a couple videos ago, y'all saw that I was getting started with this training. I was really excited, and I still am excited to finish strong. That is my goal. So I was doing strength workouts and running, which is something I've been doing, but not with as much intensity as I've been doing in the last couple months. And you might have noticed a couple videos ago, I was doing strength workouts before running. One even pointed out that that might not be the best idea, and you were right. I learned that that was a big no-no. There's a reason why morning runs are a thing, and why most people get their runs done first, get their runs done early before doing anything else. When I was working out before running, especially doing full body and leg workouts before running, I was fatiguing my muscles and putting myself in a bad position. So when I started running and all that pounding from running after working out, that's a big reason why I started experiencing knee pain. So after about 3 weeks of consistently working out and then running, that's when the knee pain flared up. And I didn't realize what was causing it, until it got so bad that I finally had to stop running and go read a book. And that's when I found out that you need to run first, then strength train afterwards. The reason that I was choosing to strength train first is because I like to wait until the hottest part of the day to run. I want to run when it's the most comfortable out, and with it being winter, the hottest part of the day is usually late afternoon. So I was like, okay, I'll just get my strength training out of the way now. I'll wait a few hours, then I'll go run. So I did have some logic to what I was doing, but the reality is I just have to get up and run early, even if it's cold. Like right now, it's like 45 degrees, but a week and a half ago, it was -8 degrees. I can do about 30 degrees, and then I gotta go run on the treadmill. I'm not gonna be out here in 20 degrees running outside. I know it's cute for the gram, I know it's cute for social media, but I'm not doing that. There's nothing wrong with running on the treadmill. In fact, I think it should be done sometimes because it's a lot less impact on your joints. But yeah, after a couple weeks of switching things around, taking a break off running, now I'm running pain-free. Another awesome experiment that I unwillingly got to take place in was, like I was telling y'all, when I got sick about a week ago. I knew my job slowed healing at best, and at worst made it worse. But I was lucky enough that when I got sick, it was during my days off. So I slept, I stopped, I didn't do anything, just rested. And by the time it was time for me to go back to work, I was like 95% better. Didn't have a fever, took a COVID test, didn't have COVID, even felt fine. I could tell I still needed like one more day to rest, but I figured, I'm fine. By the time I got back from a 3-day trip, I went from 95% good to about 65% good. I felt terrible when I came back home, and it took me another 3 days to recover. So not an ideal job for what I want to do, but that's what I'm working with right now. So it's another reason why I just have to take really good care of myself, prioritize my recovery, my nutrition, my rest, because just being on the plane takes such a beating on you. Y'all know I'm not a partier. I don't go out on my layovers partying. I slam and then I click. So yeah, that was not really an eye-opener, but definitely confirmation for how flying affects your body. There you have it. 4-mile run. Not the fastest in the world, but I'm so happy to have another run in after a full week off. And by 4 miles a month ago, I would always start to experience the knee pain. So I'm happy to say I am knee pain free. Time for a shower. So you'll notice I did not eat before I ran. That's also something that's changed. I now wake up, drink my electrolytes, and then go run, and then I come back and eat. Now, oatmeal is the first thing I like to have on my stomach, just because anything else is a little bit too heavy for me first thing in the morning. So I am gonna eat this now, and then have something a little more substantial in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So yeah, for a while I was working out first and then eating, and then I switched to eating and then working out, and now I'm back to working out first and then eating afterwards. So the body changes. She likes to switch things up every now and then. I also switched to all glass pots recently. I noticed that I was starting to feel a little bit nauseous after eating, especially after frying eggs in the skillet that I was using. And first I thought it was the food, and then after getting new food and it's still happening, I realized that it wasn't the food, it was the pots and the pans that I was using. You know how after a while certain pans, the bottom will start to come up? That was happening. And if the bottom's coming up, then the bottom is going in your food and you're eating it. So those are the first set of pots and pans that I got when I moved in here. You know, they did what they needed to do. I didn't have any money after I moved here. I spent pretty much every penny that I had just getting over here. So those were a gift. And I'm really grateful that I was able to have those pots, but I ended up actually recently getting rid of them and getting all glass pots. So yeah, now we're cooking with just glass and the cast iron skillet. So that's it. Glass is just the safest thing to cook with, to store food in. And so that's just the new wave for the new year and for life. I'm only gonna cook in glass from now on, and cast iron. So yeah. Speaking of eating, it is time for somebody to eat too. Yes, y'all know what time it is. Look at them, they're so greedy. They're so greedy. I will be showing y'all this in another vlog when we actually went to pick up the fish, but we now have 12 fish in the tank. They are so happy, so full of energy. They all have names, they all have different personalities, and they are thriving. We've had them for about almost 5 weeks. Everybody's still alive, everybody's happy, had no issues whatsoever. I've been checking the water parameters like crazy, making sure everything's good, and they are just living their best lives. Happy as clams, huh? Happy, 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 happy.
Everybody eats. So now that I'm done eating, just waiting for my food to digest, I'm going to get on the mat and stretch. I never ever work out without stretching. We all know why stretching is important. I feel like if you're asking your body to do all these amazing things, the least you can do at the end of the workout is stretch. So, or at least at some point during the day when you have time, the least you can do is stretch. I did learn some new stretches recently doing my research on why my knee was hurting, and I realized that I need to stretch my hips a lot better than I had been stretching them. I'd really only been doing like one hip stretching exercise to stretch my hip flexors, but I wasn't really doing it properly. So yeah, learned how to do it properly, learned some other hip stretches. So I like to stretch from head to toe, no matter what kind of workout I do, just to kind of give my body some TLC. So. So a really great tool, this foam roller I got this one off Amazon. I didn't think I needed one for a long time, but after my first marathon, I realized that I definitely need one. I'm gonna foam roll it out, and that'll be that. So as you can see, there's different surfaces on it. Foam roller massages out muscle kinks so that they're not as tight, and it has different levels on it. This is more smooth for a little bit of an easier experience. This one has all these little, I don't even know what you want to call it, knots on it, this side, if you really have some kinks that you need to get out. So I just go from my back all the way down to my legs. Wasn't always foam rolling my back, but I went and got a sports massage about 3 weeks ago. And if you've ever had a sports massage, you know it is definitely not a Swedish massage. I decided I wanted to start getting massages this year just to make sure I'm giving my body the TLC that it needs. Right now, rolling out my left glute, just rolling it over the foam roller, getting that butt nice and massaged. Anyways, I went and got the sports massage. When I tell you, he dug in to all the muscles in my body, and if I was a punk, I was trying not to be a punk, didn't want to flinch, but that junk hurt. Like, the whole massage was quite unpleasant, but definitely needed. He dug in, pulled everything apart. He was telling me that I need to start foam rolling my back because my back is tight. He also definitely confirmed that my hips are tight and I need to work on my hip mobility. And I also need to work on my wrist mobility, which I was not expecting. So when he got to my hands and my wrists, he asked me if I'm just rolling my calf out now. He asked me if I had ever broken my right wrist. And I said, no, I've never broken any bones in my life. And he was like, well, that's weird because your wrist should have a lot more mobility than they do. So he was showing me and comparing each wrist, and my right wrist does not bend back very far, which is not something I noticed at all. I had told him at the start of the massage that I'm a flight attendant, and he said it's probably from dragging my bag 10 million miles in the last 9 years, and that's probably why my wrist doesn't have a lot of mobility. So he like dug in my wrist, like broke that apart, and he basically said that I need to make sure that I'm stretching my wrist frequently and just making sure that I get the mobility up, because if not, I could have issues later in life like carpal tunnel and stuff like that. And that was just like crazy to hear because I had never thought I had any issues with my wrist. He was like, can you do a push-up? I was like, I've been trying to do a push-up for 2 years. And that might be a reason. Not that I'm giving myself an excuse, but that might be one of the reasons why I still haven't been able to get my push-up, even though I've been consistently trying, especially in 2023. I was on it, like consistently trying. And while I have made improvements, I still can't do a push-up after a year of like intentionally trying to be able to do it. So that was a find for the month. So I've been doing wrist stretches, and I'll show you that in the next part of the video. And I've also been doing exercises to strengthen my wrists as well, which you can find all this stuff on YouTube. But if you are somebody who works with your hands, if you're a flight attendant, if you do hair, nails, anything that involves your wrists, I bet you that 6 months I was at DC with all that carpet, I bet you that's what messed my wrists up. That was the final straw. But if you look, I'm bending my wrist back as far as I can. The left wrist bends back about 25% further than the right wrist, because my right hand is my dominant hand. So some flight attendants get kind of like uneven in their shoulder area from dragging their bag all the time. So I'm very intentional about trying to drag my bag with each hand. I try not to just use my right hand to pull it, but at the end of the day, my right hand is my dominant hand. So my right hand just takes the brunt of everything. So yeah, y'all, protect your wrists at all costs. This is the IT band right here running down the side of your leg. After my first marathon, I went to the chiropractor, and he said that my IT band was tightened so tight that it could practically snap. So keeping this part of your leg nice and massaged and loose can help prevent injury as well. So always massage this out after every single run or leg workout. Get you a foam roller. The more you take care of your body, the more it can do for you. So many people don't stretch. It's so important. I will stop a workout short if I see that I'm running out of time and that I won't have time to finish the workout and stretch. I'll cut the workout short so that I can make sure I have enough time to stretch. All right, that is the morning routine. Just making myself a cup of tea, put on my editing glasses, and work for about an hour and a half until it is time for me to eat again. So yeah, then I'm gonna cook myself some good old cute little smoked salmon bagel. It's gonna be so good. I cannot wait. That's my real meal. Like the oatmeal is like pre-breakfast, so that's gonna be like my real breakfast. So hope y'all enjoyed this part of the morning routine. This is how I get down when I am at home, and I love being at home. I'm able to take my time and do everything I need to do, slow, controlled, not a care in the world. So I will send y'all over to future Lex so she can show you the on the road morning routine. I hope y'all enjoyed this part. I'll see y'all over there. It's not gonna be here. We're not in Denver. And welcome to a gloomy day in Chicago. Here's the airport right there. Good morning and welcome to part 2 of the video. This is the on the road morning routine. So I'm in Chicago. For this part of the video, I really wanted to pick a really realistic layover and not something that was really long. Typically our layovers are not very long. Oh, you can hear it now, it is working. Got my water for my tea boiling. You hear that? Oh. Supposed to have this. Whoosh. Open, seal, and boiling water. Almost forgot. Always bring your own water boiler. I do have this link down in the description below under the section called products I recommend. Everything that I use, I always link in the description down below. Don't ever use this. This is filthy. This is so gross. I never use these. These are just not clean. Sorry. They're not. Anywho, y'all, after almost a decade of staying in hotels, as much as I have to stay in hotels, these rooms are not clean, y'all. And they don't have us at like dumpy hotels. They have us at like nice hotels. And from what I can gather from the last 9, almost 10 years, is that for the most part, they just make the rooms look clean. They don't actually take the time to like give them a good deep clean. You're lucky if it looks clean, but I don't trust that anything is clean. As you can see, I've told y'all this before, I always bring my own pillowcase, and my life has been changed since I started doing this. I never leave home without my own pillowcase, and I also always bring my own washcloths. I don't use the washcloths in the room because sometimes they're the washcloths that were in the last person's room. In the last person's room, because they didn't use them, they just leave them in the room and they don't change them. So they could have been coughed on, they could have been dropped on the floor, anything. So you peep what's going on when you stay in hotel rooms all the time. But oh, so my water's done boiling. So like I was saying, I wanted to pick a really realistic layover for y'all, something that I would typically normally get. So this is a 12-hour Chicago layover. It could be worse, right? It's not a very long layover, not a chance to get a ton of sleep, but it's better than a 10-hour layover. So today I will take it. We got our hot water. You see that steam? Get you a hot water boiler. One thing that I will use in the room are the sealed tea bags. So sometimes I bring my own tea, sometimes I forget. This time I forgot. So I'm going to have this English breakfast. Tea, ingredients, black tea, that's it. So, and I do like to take my tea with honey, especially black tea. I don't really mind any other tea, just drinking plain, but black tea I usually like to take with honey, but I don't bring honey and stuff like that with me when I'm on the road. So I just take it to the head and still good. So cheers. Side note, this is one of the best coffee cups I have ever had. I got this at Target. You can also get them on Amazon. It's called Ello, and it is literally the best tea, coffee, hot drink mug you will ever find in your life. I am shocked by its quality. Like, this will keep your drink hot for like 800 years. Like, I have this ritual now. I always make tea before I go to work, and I drink it in the car on the way to work. And I will boil the water and pour it in the cup an hour before I leave, and leave the lid completely off like this, just so that I can ensure that it's semi-cooled down enough for me to even drink. Or I'll just leave the lid on there with it open like this. Just try to let some of the heat out, because it takes so long to cool down. It never cools down. But anyways, where was I? Yeah, so 12 hours is pretty typical layover. So I didn't want to pick a 18-hour layover, for example, where I have all this time to do all this stuff. This is an express morning routine that I do in my hotel rooms before I start my long day. Today's day is scheduled at over 12 hours. Most of our days these days are at least 12 hours. So it's a long day. A lot of times we don't have a break. Today, we're not scheduled to have a break at all. It's boom, 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 3 flights and 12-hour day. So yeah, I'm gonna wait for my tea to cool down. My main priorities on layovers like this, number one priority is to get rest. Let's say if I woke up and I felt very fatigued, like I still needed more rest, I would rest. I wouldn't work out. I wouldn't do anything. I would sleep until the very last minute, and then I would get up. So rest is the number one priority. If I feel like I've rested and I'm feeling good, then moving my body and eating, those go hand in hand. That is my next priority. Probably eating first, eating and then moving my body. So I have some overnight oats right here. If you want to know how I made these, it's Greek yogurt, honey, oats, cinnamon, salt. I think that's it. And also the toppings, which I don't put on until I'm right before I'm ready to eat. Pumpkin seeds and some Elizabeth's granola. So I'm gonna wolf this down real quick before I work out. So I do feel rested. I'm gonna be able to eat, and I'm gonna be able to move my body today. I've still got an hour and a half before I have to be downstairs to the van. So I'm doing good on time today. You will notice that I am eating first thing versus when I was at home and I worked out first and then ate. When I'm on the road and when I'm working, my hotel room is one of the only times I'm gonna have a chance to really sit down and eat in peace. So I definitely want to eat while I'm in my hotel. I don't know when I'm gonna have another chance to eat. I know I will eventually at some point, but usually it's 10 minutes crammed in here, 15 minutes there if I'm lucky. So I'm eating right away, and then I'm gonna eat again before I leave the hotel room, just a little snack. And then of course y'all know I meal prep, so I'm gonna have like my most substantial meals on the plane. So let me show y'all this overnight oats situation. So this is definitely more of a travel-friendly version of my beloved oatmeal. Overnight oats has been my go-to for the last 4 or 5 months, honestly. I love it. It's so easy. It tastes good to me, and it's just a great way for me to get in breakfast before work. But I'm gonna eat these, and then I will show y'all what I typically do next. So I just finished my overnight oats, and I have about 40 minutes until I need to go downstairs, really 50, but I like to leave 10 minutes early because I don't want to walk fast. I just want to stroll. I want to have a nice easy walk. And also I always need to leave time for myself to get ice, because that usually takes about 2 to 3 minutes. So all in all, 10 minutes seems to be a really good buffer time for me to get downstairs, get my ice, do what I need to do. So because of that, I always try to get myself as close to 30 minutes as possible to really get ready to go. I'm just gonna do a standing core workout. This is one that I really like to do. And I like to do this because, and I'll leave a link to this workout in the description down below. My favorite workouts to do at the hotel are standing workouts. Yes, I have on socks, but if I can avoid getting down on the floor, that's what I'm gonna do. So sometimes I'll do, like, there's a standing Pilates workout that I like to do. Usually a lot of cardio workouts will have you standing up, just any standing workout. So yeah, I just want to move my body before I go out there in the world and try to help other people and take care of everybody else. I really want to take care of myself first. I am my #1 priority. You would be amazed at how much better you feel even after a long day. Let's say I had a really hard, long day yesterday. I find that every single time I just move my body, even if it's for 5 minutes, if it's intentional movement, before I walk out that door to begin my workday, I feel so much better. I just feel looser. I don't feel as like tired and achy. So even if it's only 5 minutes, honestly, it still helps. I found that laying in the bed longer or just kind of sitting around in bed, you just feel terrible. Like you don't feel any better for laying in the bed all day. So get up, do the intentional movement. I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. There you have it, the typical express morning routine. If I had more time, I would have probably gone to the gym and run on the treadmill, done a longer workout. But like I said, the most important thing for me is to move my body. So now it is time for me to pack up all this stuff and get ready to go and make sure that I am checked in for my check-in on time / early. So one last thing I did want to show you guys. I was talking earlier about how I went to get a sports massage and found out some things about my body, particularly my wrists and my wrist mobility. So some stretches that I do like to do before work and also after work, during work. Sometimes when I'm sitting there and I don't have anything to do, I'll just stretch my wrists. So stretching this, pulling it back, both hands. Gently, of course. Start with my ashy hands like this, pulling my hand back again this way. I'm doing it shorter than I would do. I would hold for longer, but I'm just showing you all the stretches and then stretching each finger. Just like that, pressing it back gently, getting a full stretch in each finger. There are a lot of videos you can also watch on YouTube about how to stretch your wrists, but I don't want to end up with any issues or carpal tunnel or anything like that because of my job and having to pull my bag all the time. So I've been constantly doing these stretches every day for the last 2 weeks consistently, and I've noticed my wrist mobility slowly start to go up. So yeah, wiggle them around like this. I still have a lot more mobility in my left wrist than my right, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Isn't that crazy? From pulling your back, I had no idea I had issues with my wrists. So yeah, anyways, take care of your wrists. Make sure you get your body checked out every now and then. Let me finish getting ready for this day. And now I am back home. I got a pizza, a nice juicy pizza on its way to me as we speak. Editing glasses are on. The video is almost finished. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this morning routine video. Hope it wasn't too chatty for you. I just really love to share what I'm learning. Love to give you guys the tea just in the hopes that maybe it can help somebody. Like I said, I learned a lot in January. It was just, it's like God has been putting me in the right places to meet the right people who need to tell me what I need to know. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, that was the at home and on the road morning routine. A little bit different, but you know, we gotta be flexible, work with our circumstances and switch things up according to what we got going on. So that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Happy January. It has been a long month, but I am finally home with literally a week off. Can you believe it? I haven't had a week off in such a long time and I am ecstatic. My dad called me today and he was like, oh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go home? I was like, I am home. So I'm gonna wrap up the video here. And if you ever wanna support the channel, if you ever wanna show love, if you enjoy the videos, if you enjoy the vibes over here, feel free to check out the link in the description down below. You can join the membership. You can make a one-time donation. It's very easy, similar to Patreon, but not as annoying because you don't have to create an account. You can just bloop, go on there, do what you need to do, and go on about your day. So appreciate all the love. Thank you so much, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, you already know exactly what to do, okay? So just do it. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you again. And make sure you're taking very good care of yourselves. We're going into February. If January was, you know, a rest month, a trial month, that's okay if you haven't gotten started on your goals, or if you learned a lot like me and you had to do a little bit of a reset to kind of try to get going in February. That's okay. That's okay. As long as you get started, eventually it's gonna happen. I believe in you, and I will see you guys very soon with another video. Take good care of yourselves. It is the most important thing you can ever do in your whole entire life. Prioritize you, and I will see you very soon with another video. Say bye. Bye.